can we have a review of what we did last week? Can somebody tell us what you received last class, in our last class on boundaries? What is our definition of a boundary? Did we talk about types of boundaries?
Yes, ma'am.
We spoke about types of boundaries, and I think we ended at the importance. We had to talk about the importance of establishing boundaries in marriage. Can somebody tell us something that we learned from our last class as far as boundaries are concerned?
I think we define a boundaries as being imaginary lines or limits which which define how family members relate to each other. That's imaginary lines or limits that define how family members relate to each other. Because in this sense here, we talk of marriage including a whole structure like a family.
Okay. We spoke about the importance, yes. And did we talk about boundaries that kill marriages?
Actually, before we went to that, we talked about the different types of boundaries, where we had rigid boundaries, we had elastic boundaries, and we also mentioned adaptive boundaries. Well, rigid boundaries here could be those kind of limits that nobody goes above it. For example, you mentioned an example where in a house, a well-structured house, they know where daddy sits and nobody sits on that kind of a chair. And we know nobody gets into the kitchen like to serve food. Those are some of the rigid boundaries, examples of rigid boundaries that were mentioned. And then we also talked about elastic boundaries. Boundaries, at least they have some, they're flexible. There could be some rules set in a family, but they are flexible. People can still go above it.
Okay.
And then we also mentioned the adaptive boundaries, where these are boundaries that in the absence of one partner, another one can actually execute, all with the confidence that they have all agreed. And the common example there that you mentioned was like they set fixed amounts amounts of money that have to be spent. For example, if a relative comes visiting, either a sister-in-law or a mother-in-law, this is the amount of money that can be given. So in the absence of one partner, and then if such occasions arise, another partner can actually go ahead. That falls on adaptive boundaries.
Good.
And then, yeah, and then we also talked about diffused boundaries. Diffused boundaries where there were no limits. And the glorious lady actually said she was like falling under the diffused boundaries. Is that true, glorious lady?
Yes, I said that there are some aspects that started as elastic, now they have gone diffuse.
They are just mixing. Now we are adapting and we are flowing.
And we are flowing.
In all of it, as people grow, some of those boundaries are either strengthened or they are broken. That is it. You see, yes, as people grow, it can change with time. For example, our income is, let's say in the couple, their income is 500,000, 200,000. All right, since we are ending this amount, our boundary, we will not eat more than 100,000. Or will not every week, every month, we are supposed to save 50,000. You see, now in the course of time, they live from 200 to 500. They choose now. They can still, they bound. When it's a boundary, nobody visits us. That's a boundary for that time. Now with time, it becomes adaptive. You say, okay, no, if somebody now wants to come, all right, the person is not more than 1 week. You see, the person should not do more than 1 week in our house. Those are boundaries. Then you want to see one in-law comes and say, I'm following some documents. This week like this, I'm going back. Before you want to see, the week is next week. The next week is 2 weeks. Until documents did not even go until they say, I think I just want to look for a school or a job now. So you have to stretch at a particular time. That's where Glorious Lady says, we just enter and come out, because sometimes it yokes you. You cannot be too strict, because too strict, too rigid boundaries can destroy relationships. When it's too rigid, destroy relationship, it means that we are not considerate in the things we are doing. That's why we say the best kind of relationship is even adaptive. Adaptive is, according to the situation. We put boundaries according to the situation. So we cannot just be rigid. Nobody sleeps in this house after 1 week. Then somebody comes to the house now, and maybe the person falls sick or there's a delay. You cannot say, no, in our house, we have set somebody, nobody 1 week. You see now that it will be too stressful. And you can still implement it depending now on the objective. Like you can say, no, this your thing is next month. You will not stay in this house. Go and come back. So you will not wait, go and come back. And now the person tells you that I don't have transport. You see now that. So when setting boundaries, generally, boundaries are just there to help us guide our relationships so that we know where exactly we are failing. You see, it's not just open. Okay, we'll check like, did I say boundaries that kill marriages? We'll check the first one I've said. Rigid boundaries, a stifle. You see, it is porous because all the time that somebody will still come and touch it. But it is porous. It's not really followed. It's not implemented. So in a marriage like that, where a man is giving 5,000 per day for feeding, and then you people have agreed that, let me say, not more than 2 people eat as extra food, extra mouths in the house due to the budget. You agree like that. But then it is easily breached. It makes the boundary to be porous, free. It is free, no fence. So you are in a house where extended family can just come and enter. Hey, I'm coming next week. And you have space all the time. Auntie is coming next week. Oh, auntie is going. Uncle is coming. Uncle is going. Cousin is entering. It is a porous relationship. Father-in-law is coming. And mother-in-law is going. It is a porous, and it can destroy the marriage. Why? The people have little time to really plan. It is difficult to plan in a porous boundary. Because a woman cooks her food and says, okay, in this house like this, people should not, if you want to come, sister-in-law is my brother's money. Now you see, you want to talk, brother, husband is saying, ah, but it's my sister. Instead of standing on the boundary, he's just making like, ah, it's just food now. At the end of the day, you people will spend more than you plan, or more than you have budgeted. So it destroys, it kills the marriage, because you'll be like, nobody's taking anybody serious. No respect for anybody. People are in their room, sister-in-law just pass and enter, mother-in-law just say, can I not enter my, you see this kind of a thing. They don't know when to do what. You just enter the fridge, you remove what you want to. When boundaries are porous, it kills the marriage. They breach, they say they don't have the boundaries that are easily breached. Just enter and do anything at any time. It doesn't go. We talk about unilateral boundaries kill the marriage. It's also like maybe it's unilateral is one person putting a boundary. It is the man that will decide when the family has to be happy. Yes, in this house, people are smiling only when daddy is happy. Daddy will choose when to go and sleep in the parlor because he's angry. It's not because mommy too is not angry. Oh, mommy should not be angry and go and sleep in the parlor. It will be an elders meeting. But when daddy sleeps in the parlor, there is no elders meeting. You see the matter. You see somebody saying that the spouse has the right to go and visit ex-husband. you know, girls say, hey, he's just the father of my children. No, there must be boundaries. Or it's just my ex-husband, now it's my friend, or it's my ex-wife, my ex-girlfriend. No boundaries. It makes it unilateral. I say, I will go, whether you like it or not. You say my conscience is clear. Whether you have which kind of clear conscience, you have made your boundary to yourself, and it is killing the marriage, because it's not about your clear conscience. It's about the principles that govern your marriage. Say, no, he used to be my boyfriend there, and let me just go and visit him. Like, seriously. So those kind of boundaries, they kill relationship. Okay. We talk about, we've spoken about setting boundaries, right? We spoke about it last week, setting boundaries in marriage. We started, I think we started and I stopped. Where are we?
I'm saying that we went
at the level of importance. I don't know whether.
Yes, importance of boundaries in marriage.
Voila.
And then We stopped at how do we set boundaries.
Okay.
That was that was the subtopic that we ended. I think you treated just one point on that. How do we set boundaries?
By establishing order. Okay. That was the first point, establishing order. Order has to do with all the principles that will govern that home. And then the father, the mother go to the children. You see, therefore, a father, a mother cannot be beating or rebuking a child. You set a boundary, and then the father comes and says, why are you beating that child? So the importance of setting boundaries is to establish order. The children know that whether it's my father or my mother, see, let my mother not beat you, my father will just join. Let my father not beat you, my mother will just join. You see, there is an order. The children know that you don't, like I said, you don't sit on daddy's seat. How comes you come and take daddy's dish and you are drinking Gary? How come? So these are the things, but when this order is being established, there is some spice now in the home. Daddy is feeling like the king, mommy is the queen, and the children are the princes and the princesses. There's a kind of royal treatment. Everybody, there's a principle. You knock before you open. You knock and wait. You don't just come and enter, whether it's your sister's room or your brother's room. There is a respect. That order helps to respect. Okay. Onela. Establishes importance of setting boundaries, establish new relationship, new beginning. The day of the girls' traditional marriage, they say they'll go with somebody. Fine, no problem. That's somebody. We are starting our new beginning. They say a man shall live, not carrying the mother, or the woman shall live, not carrying the father. So that living and cleaving makes marriage a boundary to show that these two people are starting their own new life. It allows them, give them the opportunity to build their space, to fill their space. Imagine people that are living in a studio. They just get married, and then you are sending a girl to go with them. When they go enjoy their romantic life. In this our time, I'm not talking about village marriage. I'm talking about modern marriage, where they start from the parlor to the kitchen, to the bathroom, to the bedroom. Everywhere is their space. They want to. So if you carry somebody along, there is an aspect of their life that they have not experienced. Sometimes it's a challenge. Some people culturally, they adapt easily. It's okay. But when you put a boundary, you establish a new order. New beginning. Boundaries help to establish new beginning. So it gives them the time to empty themselves of their old, of their different entanglements, and to get this new entanglement. Like the Bible says, you don't put new wine in old wineskin. When they are coming together,
into an old skin.
Yes, the boundary helps them to discover. That's why I say premarital counseling is not well done. You see that in that discovery like that, as they leave the boundary. Okay, go and see something that you will not see, and you start, you'll just say, oh, You have to learn. Part of premarital counseling. It's too deep. Premarital counseling. This thing I'm teaching counselors guide where we have not even gone. We are still there. There's a lot to teach people to know about marriage. Like we're saying, the only thing that people come in about conflict is ignorance. Because in their mind, they just know that when we have problems, we'll resolve it. They didn't know. They hardly even know that the problem will come. The problem will come, like we said, from toothpaste. The problem will just come from putting your slippers or your shoe where you are not supposed to. But they know that they will always tell you, you know, they'll say, a child will go to the mother for counseling. He says, my pikin, in marriage like that, you just have to tie your heart. That's all. That's counseling for them. Now, you are tying your heart. You don't even know what you are tying your heart for. So the only thing they know is that be strong. They have not taught you that in marriage, you can put a spoon on top of the lid of the pot, and it is a problem. Or you can eat and you don't take your plate to the kitchen, like some women. To them, they just have a kind of way. So they didn't know. They just know we have problem. My mother said I should just tie my heart. And then you enter. Your tying heart is that your husband comes in the night drunk. You are just there. You say, that's when your ignorance starts having knowledge. Conflicts, they come very ignorant of where are we going to have problems. Why did you press this toothpaste and put it inside this thing instead of putting it here? Problem has started. You tell somebody that in the morning you don't go out with your toothbrush. So if it's in your village, you are a village, you are carrying toothbrush along the quarter and greeting all the neighbors. You come and meet a lady, she's telling you that they don't brush, toothbrush does not leave the bathroom. Conflict has started. And now you want to come and teach me. You want to come and teach me. Simple to know. So boundaries are important because it establishes new beginning. Please don't come to our house. That's why in marriage counseling, they always advise that the couple should be left alone for some time, except otherwise. The couple should be left. I think it's 1 year or 2 years like that, before any third party come and start staying or bed. In our Africa, that you are marrying a family, like, how do we do it? That as you are going inside one room, they say, no, take this your cousin. You know, this your wife was staying with the sister, and now the sister does not have a place to stay. Trouble has come. But if boundaries are set well, the man will leave, the woman will leave. All they want is just encouraging them. Counselors will tell you, don't even call them for 1 week. They are in their honeymoon. At least don't call them. Don't visit them. You can call and say how. Let them even call you to be giving, but don't. These are strict rules that when people follow, it looks like it is strict, but it's because we have become too porous and just anyhow that marriages are failing. Nothing, everything is just there. Any man, you just do your own and I do my own way. I just there. We don't have any principle. We just know that marriage is two people. You come together, okay, you start doing your thing. We are doing our thing. We start giving birth to children. We don't even think about visions, goals, and everything. So now when the man starts coming with one bad project, the woman say, I'm not used to this kind, because the woman did not take time to understand the man's kind of mind. All she knew was the man is working. You see, the man is working or I'm working. That's all. Which kind of work? Are you sure you can accommodate? What kind of a person is he? So marriage is stress. Even those who succeed, sometimes there's stress because some boundaries were not set due to ignorance. Hello? I said they protect treasures. I think I said this thing. Oh, you both said we did not touch this one. Ah, we touched it. Oh. Let me touch it again. It protects, it gives treasures. You see, now,
yes, we are under importance of boundaries.
Yes, we spoke about it now.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, I started. Did I start? And I did not end. All right, let's continue then.
No, Marlies, we had, you started and you ended. We had 6 points.
Good.
And then, yes, we had 6 points. And then we went ahead now. I had a subtopic, which is how do we set boundaries? That is where you just started by giving us, I think you define it. You just get 1 point. How do we set boundaries? So we are starting today with how do we set boundaries?
First thing I said was by defining your marriage.
Yes.
Good. We set boundaries by, this is it.
Yes. That's where we are today.
Good. We set boundaries. The first thing is, like I said, we define the boundaries and define what is marriage to us.
Yes.
People have their different definition of marriage. Marriage is an achievement. Marriage is a stepping stone. Marriage is okay. So whatever definition that you give to your marriage helps you to come out with the principles that will govern the marriage. I define my marriage. Somebody said, the man said, I define my marriage is a polygamous marriage. Okay. Though you are alone, you have signed polygamy. So you start expecting anything, anytime. How do you behave in your mind? Or already it is a polygamous marriage, but now you want to set boundaries. So how do I set boundaries in a polygamous marriage? What is marriage to you? Marriage is this kind of a thing. Marriage is just coming, being a housewife, giving birth to children and grooming them. For somebody, that is marriage. That is their own marriage. Like we talk about models of marriage. What did we say? What the models of marriage was what? Can somebody remind us if we are in this class? I spoke about the Isaac model, right?
Yes, yes.
I spoke about the Isaac model, and the Isaac model is the model that the family name is very precious. Is to keep the family legacy. So we spoke about the Esau model and all of that, modern day model in marriage. We spoke about all of that. So what is marriage to you? Is it defined by the Isaac model, the Esau model, or this other model? Which one is it to you? Is it fun? Is it an investment? Is it an achievement? You ask, what is the purpose or the vision of your marriage or that relationship? Why are we married? Okay, we are married so that, like I said, you come and stay in the house and give birth to children. Why are we married? A man says, I have not gotten married to you to stop your career, So our vision, we plan it. What are the boundaries? All right, you will sit, you give birth to children. After that, you go back to school. Or why going to school and all of that in order not to stop. So we give our couple's vision, like we studied it in our premarital counseling class. We talk about couple's vision. In this relationship, it gives purpose. Are we there? It gives purpose.
Yes.
Yes. It talks about our spiritual belief. What inspires you and your spouse in marriage? You see now, when we talk about what inspires us, it will help us to understand our minds better. You see now, for example, a woman can tell the man that, okay, what inspires me in this marriage is your charisma, your ability to settle problems on time. That is already a limit. You are dropping something in that person as far as defining your marriage is concerned. You say, what I see, what inspires me is your ability to take decisions on time. You take decisions on time. So these are the kind of things that we talk about it. Now, we define our marriage as individuals, as us. Then people can come. We talk about our spiritual belief. What is marriage to you? An institution from God that has to be held in high esteem. You see, but another person, marriage is, God is not, it's not anything about their marriage. Marriage is us loving ourselves and coming together to start a family. So I said, in setting boundaries, you should define your marriage, because for somebody that spiritual brings spirituality in his marriage, it means that the person values God. So we see God in this marriage as our center, as our ultimate. So we define marriage based on our spiritual values, our visions, and our all of those things. Okay. I take the next point. We start, I said the next point is setting boundaries is start from the inner circle. Start from the inner circle. I read it says setting effective boundaries requires personal discipline and commitment. If you desire to set an effective boundaries, you must have the courage to exclude what and those who are important to you. Jesus had the beloved, the 3, the 12, and then the multitude. That's what it means. You begin with your inner circle, your personal discipline, how do you work with your inner, who are those? How do I set boundaries? Beginning with myself. Therefore, you need to know you. You consider the next person, your beloved. You consider your 3. The first principle for establishing marriage was about boundaries and who is included in our inner circle. Are we there? Who is included in our inner circle? So, who are our friends that we have to relate with now in this marriage? Who are the people we run to in this marriage? Our personal boundaries. And start from your inner circle. Your inner circle is you and the next your partner. That's your inner circle. So you start adding. Who are we adding? Who are we adding in our inner circle? Who are the people we can trust? Who enters? What's the limits To who? There are people you greet at the veranda. There are people you greet at the parlor. There are people you take to the kitchen. There are people you take to the room. There are people you take to the storeroom. So, with our inner circle, who are the people? Who do I bring inside my room? Wow. Who do I talk to? All right.
Yes.
When we fail to setting and defending boundaries is number 3. Setting boundaries in marriage. Number 3 is you set and you defend them. So we are not just setting boundaries. When we fail to set and defend appropriate boundaries, our perspective and visions are blurred. Because boundaries are like principles that govern. You know now. We know that, right? Boundaries are like principles that govern. They are not written down, but we know them as we interact and discuss. So if we don't set and defend these boundaries, it will be difficult. Our marriage, our visions, and everything, like we're saying, it will become trouble. Okay. Individual boundaries are based on our choices and self-concept. Defending personal boundaries require discipline and conviction for the purpose. It's not too much. We are rounding up, setting and defending your boundaries. We are working on that. It even helps you to have an understanding, clear understanding of your purpose in life. This is also something, I'll just read it out. Setting boundaries for special population. You know, special population are some special group of people. Like we have victims of rape, family members with mental illness, long distance relationship, violent abuse and family abuse, child molestation cases. So these are some of the cases that we need to sit and we check how to set boundaries for special population. For example, you have a child who is mentally ill, a family member. How do you set boundaries? You must set boundaries for that person. Distant relationship. There must be boundaries in dealing with distant relationship. So we talk about it for today. That is that for today. Question. If there is a...
My own is a request, please.
Yes.
Please, can you just state those importance? Let me copy, please. I'm begging you.
Importance, establishing order. You establish order. Number 2, establish hierarchy. Number 3, establish a new beginning. Number 4, it protects the treasures, family treasures. We set boundaries to protect treasures. It enhances allocation of resources. Makes us to know where money, where what is going to who. And many more.
Yes, thank you,
As you're
Mommy. Thank you very much.
number 2 top. You're going.
Okay, no
Eh.
problem. Maybe I'll pay one. Maybe I'll pay one. I'll complete the other one.
I know as
Don't worry.
a personal
I will organize, we'll take Pastor me, me go chop burning fish.
Where?
Jesus.
Where?
A beneficiary. I mean, you are a beneficiary to this.
No problem. I'll carry the bag.
Oh, this is good. Thank you, ma.
Thank you, Mommy.
Any question from anywhere? Because I'm done with boundaries today. I'm sure this is my last class, Annie. Except they'll give me another topic. This should be my last.
I'm seeing that classes are ending in May.
May.
Yes. Let me see.
Okay.
Anyways, but I think those
No.
lessons are Mommy's lessons. It's mostly about the topics that Mommy usually take.
Yes, so you remind her. Parenting that works.
Yes, there is parenting, there is intimacy. That one I cannot miss it. Hey.
Intimacy, right?
Yes. There is personal development. So out there.
Yeah.
Yes, they are mostly her
Please remind her
courses.
so that will. Yeah. Okay. Abia, any question?
Let me just
No.